I house all 8 of my adult white cloud mountain minnows in this planted 10-gallon tank with a couple of Amano shrimp. White clouds will readily breed in captivity. However, I regularly feed mine live brine shrimp nuclei. So, in the wild, they usually ignore their fry, but once they've grown accustomed to eating live food, they will devour the fry. So I believe if they breed again and I can get them out in time, the best course of action would be to remove the adults to my other planted 10-gallon tank and leave the fry in this tank to grow out. I'm preparing to do a water change and cleanup of my experimental potting soil tank. The substrate has fluval stratum, potting soil, and compost, and this provides quite an excess of nutrients. So even though I have reduced the intensity of the light with some blue plastic on the glass canopy underneath the LED, still the tank, as you can see, is heavily infested with algae. Now, you may be asking, why did I let it go and get this bad rather than doing regular cleanups? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One is the last plants I ordered are a large variety of Anubias, and I do believe that they are just too large for this tank. The Anubias on the right tend to shadow the other plants and barely fit in here, so when I go to clean those up, I want to actually remove them and put the largest Anubias in my 75-gallon tank where true Siamese algae eaters can rid them of the algae. And I want to just leave those plants in that tank, so I'm going to have to take the 2 pieces of driftwood apart that they're attached to and attach them to other driftwood to leave in the 75, and then return the smaller 2 variety of Anubias to the tank. Now, previously, about a month ago, I accidentally cut all the leaves off of one of the Anubias, and it did sprout what I believed would be a leaf on one end, so I thought it was going to survive, but then that sprout actually died away. So I just left the plant tied in the bundle of driftwood and other Anubias and also some Java moss. But I'm happy to see now that it's beginning to sprout again. Here you can see in the back, one Anubias barteri has 2 leaves remaining, and it's growing in the shadow of the large leaves of the 2 Anubias heterophylla. And in the center you can see the 1 leaf that's beginning to sprout from the Anubias barteri I thought I had lost. One plant has 2 leaves. It will probably survive. However, the one with 1 single leaf remaining, well, that leaf is hanging by a thread, so unless it's able to grow more leaves, it's not going to survive. I want to give that one damaged plant plenty of opportunity to sprout some new leaves. But if it doesn't make it, at least I had one to survive. Here's a shot of the remaining 2 Anubias barteri. I cleaned the algae off of the two leaves of the larger plant. The new growth on the smaller plant doesn't have any algae on it. And I think now that these plants will get more light out of the shade of the large leaves of the Anubias heterophylla, they should do better. Pygmy chain swords, they're still doing okay. And Java moss really beginning to fill in on driftwood ornaments. Pearlweed's doing okay. Does a lot better in this heavily fertilized tank than it did in the last aquascape. And have more Anubias barteri on driftwood pieces in the back there. There's the left side of the tank. I have lots of water wisteria growing in the back, so as that grows taller it should look quite nice. And dwarf spikerush or hairgrass, still doing fine. Another reason I let my tank go so long without a water change, I don't have any animals in the tank, so it's safe to use doses of hydrogen peroxide to combat the algae. Here you can see the tank from the left with most of the algae eradicated. Here's a shot of the left side of the tank. Finally, here's a shot of the front of the tank. There's very little algae in the tank now, and it looks very nice. Should I need it to house my adult white clouds, it's ready.